San Diego State's football team on fire. And big game coming up this weekend against Wyoming. What you saw in USA Today, or was it ESPN? Was it Sports Center? They had the Heisman Watch. Listen to this. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback at Louisville,
Right.
he's number one leading the way. They've got number two, Donnell Pumphrey.
How great is that, man?
It's good.
Oh, man.
It's good. They've got Jalen Hurts, the quarterback at Alabama, third. And they've got this wide receiver from Oklahoma, Westbrook. He's kind of right there with him. And then Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from Clemson, at fifth.
Yep.
So at least there's starting to be now a push for Donnell Pumphrey from the national media, even though most people think it's a foregone conclusion that this Louisville quarterback, Lamar Jackson, will win it. I don't care if Donnell Pumphrey wins the Heisman or he doesn't win it. I don't expect him to win it. But here's what I think. He really should be invited to New York. I feel like it gives hope to every guy who's not playing in the Power 5 conferences that, you know what, if you really are great, they will find you. And Donnell Pumphrey deserves to be there. Here's the coach of the San Diego State offense. He is the associate head coach. He is the offensive coordinator. Here's Jeff Horton back on Scott and BR on the Corky's Hotline. Hi, Coach.
How's it going today?
It's going really good. Yourself?
Good. Just got through with practice. All good.
All right. Coach, I got to ask you about the stats in the last game. Pumphrey rushes for 198 yards, and I think it was 26 carries. And then you got Penny, who rushes for over 200 yards on 10 carries. And I thought to myself, wow, Pumphrey must be really loosening them up because he got so many more carries.
Right.
But I wondered also, Coach, do defenses play differently against you when Pumphrey's not on the field?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, we run the exact same plays with who's ever in there. I think, obviously two different styles. Donnell Pumphrey, a lot of quickness, elusiveness, sudden breaks, those kind of things, where Rashad's kind of more of a bigger power back, runs through people more, still has enough, elusiveness to him that he can make some people miss. But the thing that's deceiving about him when he comes out of those piles, people don't think he's fast, but nobody can catch him. And he gets up and moving, and he's fast in his own right.
See, if I'm a Heisman voter and I hear you say that, Coach, I say, well, this guy Pumphrey's really good, but they got another running back on the team that's just as good, maybe better. I mean, he's certainly averaging a lot more yards per carry.
I figured that's what you were going to ask me. How come I wasn't starting Penny in front of Pumphrey since he was running so much?
Well, I guess I really wondered. Like, I have not sat there and studied film with you to know, like, hey, look, when Pumphrey's in the game, they're bringing 9 guys down. But when Penny's in the game, there's only 7 guys. They're thinking that we might throw the ball. Yeah. I mean, I really didn't know. How do you explain it? How is it that Penny can rush for so many yards and so few carries?
It's just, I don't know how to explain it. He's a big time back in his own right. I mean, they do a good job of alternating, keeping each other fresh. We try to keep them fresh. Now we've thrown Juwan Washington in there some also, and he's a fresh pair of legs that can really run also. But I think it's just the way it's worked out with Rashad. Much like last year, we had 2,000-yard rushers. People didn't know Chase Price. He ran for over 1,000 too, along with Donnell, as many as he had. So hopefully here by the end of the year, I think Rashad will be well over 1,000 yards also, and that's special. But it's a real, tribute to the guys up front and the tight ends and fullback that help pave the way for that.
I'm just, again, I think Pumphrey has been amazing. He's had an incredible career. And, Coach, I really believe that the kid deserves to, at least if nothing else, get the invitation to New York and be there for the Heisman Trophy presentation. But, again, if I'm an East Coast person and I've not seen Pumphrey really play.
That's the key thing, though, right? I mean, you've got to watch this guy play.
But if I haven't, and I'm just looking at stats, and I see what Pumphrey's done, and then I see what Penny has done, having not seen the games, I start saying to myself, well, I mean, they got another guy on this team that's really good too.
No, I don't think they'll look at it that way, to be honest.
Well, I hope you're right. I really do. I
Yeah,
really do.
I agree with you totally. I really think he deserves to be there. I think, obviously I'm biased, and I think he's the most dynamic player in the country. Louisville quarterback's, very good player also, and They both had tremendous impacts on both their teams.
Talking to Coach Jeff Horton. He is the offensive coordinator and the associate head coach of the Aztec football team. Coach, tell us about what you guys are going to be facing at Wyoming. And the only reason Wyoming would even be on anybody's radar down here is because earlier in the season they upset Boise State. Tell us about them.
Well, they're, typical Wyoming team. The kind of kids you're going to get in Wyoming. To go to Wyoming, got to be tough. Who else would want to live up there in that frozen tundra? So they're tough kids to start with. They play very hard. They have a lot of starters back from last year. Coach Craig Bowles has done a great job building that program. Obviously, he won, I think, 3 in a row national championships at North Dakota State and came to Wyoming building the team the same way. Very aggressive, blitz, heavy pressure kind of team, much like our defense. So I think, they're going to be very active. They create a lot of problems, much like our defense does with all their blitzing. So I think it's going to be, one heck of a game.
You guys doing what we're all doing, kind of walking around just every now and then. You just catch yourself and you go, damn, that freaking South Alabama game. If we don't lose that game, we are a top 10 team right now, and people are talking about us possibly breaking in. I mean, do you ever catch yourself doing that?
Yeah, if that damn offensive coordinator hadn't called that short yardage play to his fullback, he probably wouldn't be talking about it.
I've told you that before. You didn't listen to me last time. Last time you blew it off. You're like, you don't know what you're talking about. I know more football than you and my pinky finger you'll ever know in your life. That's what you said. I think.
It's hard. Like we've said, and everybody said, look at last week. Just look at the upsets last week that happened. Teams with losing records, and they're barely 500, beating, Michigan going down, Washington going down. It's hard to win week in and week out. It's a grind, and, we're just thankful for the 9 victories we got.
You guys are on fire. There is nobody in this conference that has proven that they can keep up with you guys yet. And San Diego State undefeated in Mountain West Conference play at Wyoming this week, and then finishing things off with Colorado State here. Hopefully we'll also get a chance to see San Diego State host the Mountain West Conference championship game. And then people are starting to talk about some real bowl games. This is starting to get really exciting. Coach Horton, great to talk to you always. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, Scott and BR. Really appreciate it. Look forward to having a great game this week.
Yes, sir.
Good deal.